What's up, fight fans? We are heading all the way to Sydney, Australia this weekend with some absolutely outstanding matchups. Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland, rematch world title main event. This is one you're not going to want to miss. And just for you, to make this fight night even better, I have teamed up with DraftKings to bring you all a great offer right now. DraftKings is giving all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after they place a wager for just $5. So don't wait. Download the DraftKings app. Do it right now. When you sign up, use the code SONNEN. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Stay in on the action. Use your $200 in bonus bets for same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. You can combine multiple bets together from the same fight. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy for a shot to win cash prizes. I want you to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. When you sign up, place in at least a $5 wager, use the promo code SONNEN. Get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code SONNEN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Tatiana Suarez versus Weili. This is even money at DraftKings. If you want to be a real jerk and tell me, right, you got negative 120 to plus 100. This is as close to even money as you could get. If you need to know who the absolute favorite is, just there's got to be, it's Weili. But I'm sharing for you. DraftKings sees this the way that I see this. I mean, this is so incredibly difficult to call. And a number of people aren't even talking about it. A number of people are not overly looking forward to this. And that's the part I just want to see if I can help you with. Because there is a lot of moving parts here. When Tatiana Suarez, who, by the way, we just saw this, guys. We just saw an awesome fighter take on an undefeated fighter, and the undefeated fighter was a 3-1 favorite. Do you guys know the fight I'm referencing? Merab, who was the champion. He's not undefeated, but he's the champion. He's a really awesome fighter. Took on Nurmagomedov, who was completely unbeaten. And you guys decided, regardless of outcome of that fight, you decided to part with your money, and DraftKings backed you up on this, that undefeated was better than world champion. Undefeated was the 3-1 favorite over the world champion. And we very much have that. We very much have the same style. This is so incredibly close to what that fight was. And you know how close and competitive and fun that fight turned out to be. So I'll just bring this to you. This is the women's version, in many ways, of Nurmagomedov versus Merab. Now, how do we get there? And I have been calling for Tatiana Suarez. I argued last year, 1 year and 1 month ago, January of 24, the fighter of the year, so that would have been for 2023. Fighter of the year was Tatiana Suarez. And I couldn't get any traction with that. She hadn't won a world championship, and she hadn't defended a world championship, and she hadn't even fought for a world championship, and she wasn't a main event on a pay-per-view. I mean, on and on and on. All the different things that I heard, I couldn't get any traction, but I stick with it. And the reason I revisit that now, I feel like maybe I'm the only one that knows how good Tatiana Suarez is. Sometimes I do feel like that. Sometimes I will be in conversations or arguments, rather, and the person that's arguing with me, I can tell they don't actually know who she is. They don't actually know what she's achieved. Now, I loved the old day. I loved 1993, 1994, the ultimate. Oh my gosh, I love this time period. It was never been names and stars. We didn't have any names. We didn't have any stars. We were fighting to see what was the more dominant style. And there was such risk involved with that. There was so many arts that to this day did not step forward and play because they knew their livelihood could not withstand the test of the octagon. I mean, that's a fascinating concept, though. Fascinating. So you get the one guy that is willing to put it on the line for Kung Fu, and he's going to take on the one guy that's willing to put it on the line for Taekwondo. Like, that's an incredible storyline right there. And all we'd seen was Hollywood. That's all that we knew about, okay, it looked like on camera, even though it's scripted, but it looked like Chuck Norris's moves were a little bit better than Steven Seagal's moves. But yeah, that Van Damme, he sure is flexible, and he can get a kick all the way to the head. Like, we actually would believe these things throughout all of society. Like, if Van Damme would have been arrested, they would have charged him with deadly assault because his hands are registered weapons, all because they saw him break fake boards on television that they knew were fake boards. But we really accepted what we saw, and we just had no other frame of reference. We had no reason to not accept the things that we had seen. Nobody was testing these theories. And about the turn of the century, 99, maybe a little bit early, but by 2001, I mean, St. Pierre had broken on the scene by 2001. And I don't think he had the title yet. I don't know if he got a belt till closer to 2003, but it's off the top of my head. And I'm just sharing, that was, St. Pierre represented something different. That was a very complete fighter, not to mention a clearly skilled athlete, blessed with great DNA. Just for example, St. Pierre started to represent, and then all the way to what you see today in the New Age fighters. And if I really pushed you to tell me what style St. Pierre represented, you'd have a very hard time. Because he never came out as jiu-jitsu, even though he had a respect to Renzo Gracie. And he never came out as karate, even though he grew up as a child in karate. Like, it was one of these things where a lot of different arts wanted him, but nobody could quite claim him. And that's very rare. Most fighters you can't. Even Khabib. Khabib does not do any sambo at all. Khabib does not do a single technique that I have witnessed that is sambo. But Khabib, every time he fights, will tell you that he is representing sambo. He wants it to be true. He want whatever that is. And Khabib and his history with sambo, like, those are the guys that he respected. Even if his techniques don't slightly resemble. Khabib will tell you how great judo is. He will tell you that he's doing sambo followed by judo before he ever gets to wrestling, even though that is straight freestyle wrestling. But it's what he believes. That's who he wants to represent. He's got the right. I represented Vale Tudo. Vale Tudo allegedly means anything goes. I don't even know. All I know is Marco Huas, who was my favorite fighter, signed up. He said he did Vale Tudo. I said, me too. I mean, it was one of these things. But if you could cling to somebody, you would. Like, over time, jiu-jitsu was just finally celebrated. It had been a dry spell for a decade, but finally, they've got Damian Maia, who is showing and proving this art, when done effectively, is still all you need. It's still the best. I mean, I remember the pride that jiu-jitsu had. I remember karate is back. They sold these shirts. They were absolutely sold out. It was for Lyoto Machida. Ed and George, I believe, had these shirts made, but they sold them all out. You couldn't get them. I said, karate is back. Machida was represented. Like, there was such a pride that karate, for the first time ever, got to have. And judo, as ineffective as judo has ever shown to be, Ronda did bring attention to judo. And I'm going down this road to get you to Tatiana Suarez. Like so many people are complete fighters. So many people are representing the new age or the mixed martial arts. Many people never came from a specific discipline. Like the boys out of Dagestan, just by example, on day one, they're 9 years old and they go to gym. On day one, they're doing MMA. It's not wrestling and boxing, and then later they put it together. It's very different. It's a very different breed, but that's not Tatiana Suarez. She is a wrestler. And I would argue for you, Tatiana Suarez is the most decorated wrestler that we've ever seen in the women's division in the UFC. Now, that could be argued. Sarah McMahon, by example, was an Olympic silver medalist. I mean, she lost one match in a tournament known as the Olympics. Tatiana was a world's bronze medalist, which means she lost one match in a tournament known as the World Championships. So it's very much the same thing, but of course Olympic there's more prestige because it's once every 4 years. I'm just sharing for you, it's the exact same tournament. Everybody on earth gets to enter. It takes them an entire year to whittle it down. But everybody with a heartbeat on earth at some point in that year can raise their hand and say, I can beat them, put me in, and we'll be given an opportunity. The world or the Olympic champion in wrestling is one of the purest world championships that you could possibly have, because it literally will scour the planet for 12 months and break it down. And of all those people, they found one that could beat Tatiana. I want you to just understand how a bracket works. When she comes in 3, that doesn't mean she lost 2 matches. It means she lost 1. And I really don't know the order of that. I don't know who she got beat, but she is a bronze medalist. And when she left that and came over to MMA, she was hurt and she had a neck and she couldn't fight for a period of time. She wins the Ultimate Fighter. She's undefeated. Let me just tell you one stat on Tatiana. I'll give you one stat and I'll get out. Okay? DraftKings has them razor thin. And you know how good Weili is. You know how decorated Weili is. But the whole story of Weili goes up in smoke if she gets ragdolled by Tatiana, which is more than likely not exactly what's going to happen. This is likely not a competitive battle at all. And the reason I say it goes up in smoke, Weili's had this belt while Tatiana was there. Weili's beating people and we're being told she's the best in the world. Tatiana's right there. Weili wins another fight and makes another $1 million. Tatiana's undefeated. She's sitting right there. I mean, it's one of those things where if Tatiana ragdolls Weili, what I predict for you is going to happen. It re-questions everything we've ever been told about Weili. That's just the truth. That is just the truth. We lived through this in boxing when Mike Tyson avoided a guy called Evander Holyfield. And then when they fought, and you see the outcome, we all got to look back and go, was he never the best in the world? A little bit hard to explain. And if I'm going to leave you with one stat on Tatiana before I get out, I'm just going to tell you, it's not a matter that she hasn't lost in a tournament known as the Ultimate Fighter. It's not a matter that she hasn't lost in an organization known as the UFC. It's not a matter that she hasn't lost a fight. Tatiana Suarez has yet to lose a single round.